All right. Hello, everyone. Last time we left off in the story, I told you about how I was a freshman in college and I just moved out of my mom's house and I got my own apartment. Just a little bit of how I actually managed to accomplish that without making the story simpler is basically when I moved to this new apartment complex, I needed a guarantor. My mom signed as my guarantor, and that's how I was able to move into that apartment. Now the question is, how did I afford all this? Because once again, I did have scholarships and all that type of stuff when I finished high school, but the question is, did I have a job? At that particular time, no. I managed to afford this. It was actually through SSI, as many of you in the blind world should know what that is. In case you don't, this is funds that the U.S. government will give you on a monthly basis to help you cover whatever life experience, whatever expenses you have. Obviously, you cannot live off of it. It's just something meant to just help people short term, and you should not rely on it, which is something I didn't want to do. But that's how I managed to afford this place each month. I used that money to afford this student housing apartment complex each month. And I had scholarships and financial aid to help me cover my school's tuition for my 4 years that I was in school. Because, like I said in my previous stories, guys, I knew if you want to get out of high school, you work as hard as you can so you can leave it, and that way college comes, you're in a lot better position. So I began Valencia and as a freshman, having my own apartment on December 1st. I started there August 31st, but when I had my own apartment, it was December 31st of 2015. This was a whole new wave of challenges for me because I'd never done anything like this before. I mean, as a kid, we used to see my dad go to Valencia all the time, but there, I didn't know what this type of environment was. I was stepping into a whole new wave of things. And to be honest, it was like it was like tasting water for the first time. I had never been around anything like this. For once, people didn't care if I was blind. People were beyond helpful 24/7. I flashed that can around, people like, oh, how are you doing? Do you need to get somewhere? Are you gonna be okay? You need me to open the door? I didn't tell them, no, I'm fine. At that blind school and growing up, people always told me people aren't gonna cut you any breaks, people are gonna do this, people are gonna do that, you run into someone, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. That didn't happen. They were wrong. It didn't happen here. Everyone was so nice, so kind. I had no problem making friends. I had no problem making friends. People were, extroverted. For once, I came out of my shell for the first time in almost 9 years. Because once people didn't care that I was blind, people liked talking to me, people didn't mind helping me get somewhere for the first time in my life, and that was beyond liberating. The academic challenges came just because obviously it's harder and a lot harder coursework. But here's why I picked a T university. If you start at community college, it's a much easier transition to a university because it's smaller, more compact, and they know how to help you better one-on-one. So so at Valencia, that's what I got. I had a pretty nice GPA there. I had a 3.5 GPA overall. I was part of Phi Beta Kappa, an honor society on the campus, and and the staff there were really nice. I went to the tutoring center all the time. I was good friends with a lot of the staff members, and I was able to work there. There was a disability office on this particular campus, so I went to the disabilities office whenever I had to schedule tests and things like that. I wound up getting my first job out of high school, actually, at that particular campus. In March of 2015, we had a new supervisor assigned in the disabilities office. Her name was Mary Asbury. As far as I know, she's still there. And a lot of them liked me there. They liked me, they knew my personality. And she just asked me one day, hey, look, do you want to work here? I looked at her and said, sure. And about a month to 2 weeks later, I was working there regularly. I worked there about 18 hours, 17 hours a week. I scheduled appointments. I booked appointments for people. And, I let them see supervisors and things like that. I was a client and I was also one of the staff workers. And I enjoyed that job there. It was a very nice job working there in that office, And once again, I was having a good time in college. People were talking to me. People wanted to hang out with me. I was actually going to people's houses for once to just relax, kick it. They were showing me new things I never saw or heard before because I lived at a boarding school. Being on a roller coaster was liberating. And, just tasting those beautiful waters. Obviously, the reason why I didn't participate a lot in this growing up as a child is because And my parents had such fear that they were scared I'd get hurt if I did any of this. Like I told you before, my dad's internal fear mechanism was like that, but my mom's wasn't. But you don't get to taste all that type of stuff and do all that type of stuff, being blind. But I went to Valencia from August 31st of 2015 till December 14th of 2017. I managed to wrap up my school adventure there, and here's where things got serious. Things got serious for me in college as I entered my junior year, because I knew this is going to be the important years. Your junior and senior years are the most important. I was determined to not be another college statistic out there. The whole reason I went to college in the first place was to get a fresh start somewhere and to actually get a job. I didn't want to be like every other blind person out there sitting on their butt, collecting disability, not really doing anything with themselves, and just living off the government. That was not going to be me. I was determined to make something different. I was determined to be one of the different ones. There's about 13% of blind people actually have full-time jobs. I want to be a part of that 13% and not of that 87%. So when I enrolled myself at UCF, the University of Central Florida, I wound up moving to a different apartment complex later in that year, just because it'd be cheaper. And plus, this is the one I actually got under my own name. It was not under my mom's name. How this happened is their rules is you were able to have the apartment be under your own name, not need a guarantor, if you just paid the security deposit. And I can go into a little bit more about how apartments work if you're disabled, if you want me to a little bit later in another video. Post something in the comments below. But I started UCF, and this was a whole nother animal, because UCF is the second biggest campus in the United States. They have over 67,000 students and about 4 or 5 regional campuses. They didn't have the resources to provide a lot of one-on-one attention like Valencia could because of the massive body of students there. So it was a whole teach yourself type of atmosphere with whatever the TAs are able to spare. And I wasn't used to that type of style. I was used to people helping me, explaining things to me, and showing me how to do things. I wasn't used to that. This was gonna be crazy. And this is my junior year. I gotta get a job or an internship. So in the beginning I did, I did get a D in one class. I didn't retake. I did try to retake another class, but when I did make my major, because I was trying to go for finance, but I didn't make the GPA cut requirement, and that was devastating. I was used to being a 3.5 Dean's List honors list student. I went from that to not making the major I wanted to having to go for a different major because the GPA requirement was lower. And it was a little bit heart-wrenching, guys. I'll kind of admit that I was a little bit egotistical, but in the end, I want the degree. In the end, that degree is going to help me get a job. So I was still worried about the whole job searching thing. It's hard enough for a blind person to get a job out there in the world, guys. A lot of you who are young blind adults, you know how hard it is. But there has to be a way. Eventually, someone in the world has to say yes to us, and that was my mentality. So I wound up finding some programs. The first program was a global experience program, because I learned in college, if you can get an internship abroad, your chances of getting an internship back in your home state, in your home college, are much higher. So I tried doing this global experience program. The program was about $12,000, which took me about a year to pay off. I tried getting involved in that, but make a long story short, basically that program didn't work out. They couldn't find me a job. The company who they wanted me to work with, they didn't want a blind person to work for them, so they cut me. But when I was at UCF in spring of 2019, my bad, I was applying to all sorts of places. I probably applied to 20 or 15. I got probably 5 or 6, 7 different rejection letters. I still get rejection letters up until this day, but I was still determined someone was gonna tell me yes. And eventually, I did get that yes. Bank of America, which a lot of you should know what that is, but in case you don't, it's one of the big banking institutions in the United States. They had a job posting on my school's website, and I applied for it. And after a rigorous interview process, which consisted of a video interview and then a phone interview and another interview process, they wound up hiring me. They hired me to work at one of their branches during that summer, from June of 2019 till August 9th of 2019. And I figured this was going to be my big shot. This is going to be my chance to show these people what I can do. But here's the issue. They've never had a blind person ever work for them, ever. They always had someone who's visually impaired, but never someone who's totally blind. That's what always bothered me when people came to speak to us about job opportunities back at blind school. A lot of them either had some type of usable vision, there was like two who were told, but the issue is if you have some type of usable vision, the issue is, all right, can I do this being a totally blind person? Visually impaired, that doesn't impress me, because then the question is, do I have good enough vision as you to do that particular job or task? And they never had a blind person work for them before. They had blind customers, but never, and visually impaired employees, but never a blind employee before. And it was very frustrating dealing with their processes, but I managed to wind up working for them. I stuck it out the 10 weeks, and I managed to finish their internship program. The abroad program I was going to get involved with, they cut me. They couldn't give me a job, so that was it. That was it for that particular program. So, but I was determined to get a job abroad somewhere. If I can my thinking was, if I can get a job somewhere outside of the country, when I come back, I should be able to get a job here. There's nothing else I can think of that would improve me. I have my associate's degree. I have my work history at Valencia. I have this internship on the table now. There's simply nothing I can do besides try to get another job, get a job abroad, in hopes that that'll help my odds of getting a job. I'm out of ideas. That's the only thing I can think of. So I wound up getting involved in another program called Career Up. I actually found that on ZipRecruiter, believe it or not. And actually, in the beginning, they found me a job. They found me a job in London, but the London company didn't want me when they found out I was blind, because I didn't tell them that during the interview. I don't tell people I'm blind in phone interviews or video interviews, because I'm not sure if they're hiring me if they're not going to hire me due to an actual reason, or if it's due to me actually being blind. So not telling them cuts off the middleman and lets me know if they fire me or if they don't let me work for them after I told them I was blind, then I know it's for a legit reason, and then you can actually sue the person, because you cannot deny someone a job in the United States for disability. That is illegal. But this London company, but this is London, so the rules are different. This London company wanted me. They found out I was blind. They didn't want me. So the program found me another job in Singapore, and a finance internship out there because my degree's in business economics. So I was going to go out in Singapore for this term right now. I was going to go to Singapore from January till March 25th. But here's the issue. That semester, I wasn't counting on Bank of America contacting me back for a job. I was counting on them saying, hey, due to your blindness, we can't have you, or blah, blah, blah. I was counting on a no. My professors told me that wouldn't happen, but I was still counting on a no. In my opinion, you plan for the worst, and if the best happens, that's great. I did another interview with Verizon. When I applied for Verizon once back in January of 2019, they didn't want me. I didn't give up, though. I applied for them again after doing my internship October of 2019. I applied for them, did an interview. A month later, they contacted me back with an offer. So by the end of October, I had two job offers: one for Bank of America, one for Verizon. And I told this internship program I told both of those companies, my bad, I was gonna be done by the spring term. And my college, you can't take classes online whatsoever. That's just how the UCF College of Business works. So I had to give up my internship in Singapore so I could graduate on time, and that was not easy because since they found me a job, they couldn't refund me all my money. So I lost over $4,000 in that program that I simply cannot get back. But I wound up taking the offer with Verizon because it paid a little bit better, and they'd had blind employees work for them before. Where they're at Bank of America, I was going to be the first blind employee. And as much as thrilling as that is, especially after they saw what I could do in their program, I wanted to go with something that was familiar. So I wound up sticking with Verizon, and Verizon's working with me, and I'm eager to start there. They offered me a job in the finance department as a payroll analyst, and I started that job June 15th of 2020, and I'm eager to start it. It took a lot of no's, guys. I got a lot of rejection letters, 6, 7. I'm still getting those in my inbox today. And it took a lot of prayer, but I just knew in the end something had to happen. Us as blind people, we're determined to make our impact on the world. We want to be someone, and we don't want to be the average blind person collecting Social Security and just sitting on their butts. We don't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be another college statistic and earn the stupid paper and just sit back, go back home, and twiddle my thumbs. My mom didn't want me to go to college, and in the beginning, to be honest with you, she didn't really see the value in it. Because she had several friends who went to college and nothing happened with them. She probably thought I was going to be the same case. My older brother didn't go when he could have. My older brother's way smarter than me. But we can't be another college statistic out there, guys. I was determined to get a yes. And despite all the no's I got, and all the no's I'm probably still going to get in the future, when I eventually do start working this job and eventually either move on to another job, or when they eventually do let me go some point in the future, I'm probably still going to get a bunch of no's. But you got to turn those no's into one yes. If you keep it mentally thinking it's going to get one, you're going to get a yes, you're going to get a yes. And this is the end of my story. I'm about to wrap up school May 1st. I found my own apartment out there in the lake, in the area where my job is located, and I'm eager to start that position. And I'll be coming at you guys more with a lot of cool, interesting blind topics. Stay tuned for some more great videos in the future. And I hope you enjoyed my story of how I went from a 5-year-old blind nobody to how I am now a soon-to-be college graduate with a bachelor's degree, about to start his very first full-time job right out of college. Take care, guys. And remember, I did it. You can do it too out there. Keep telling yourself you can, and I promise you, you will. There's a lot of great stories out there. There's a lot of happy endings. It's up to you to make your own happy ending, and I hope you'll make yours too, because I'm still making mine. Take care out there, guys. I'll come at you soon. Bye.